the thing that I'm seeing out and about camping now is there's all kinds for different lifestyles, different budgets. There's some really big, huge fifth wheels and stuff that just are really luxurious. And then there's stuff that, what you said, keeps you out of the elements, kind of keeps you drier and a little bit more ability to enjoy without having to worry about the weather and the problems that camping outdoors without much protection. So yeah, I guess that is the decision. I think the other thing too is people don't understand how versatile an RV is, not only just for camping, but even if you're not using it 4, 5, 6, 7 weekends a year or a week or two, there's other times of the year that it can be used too to kind of supplement other things like tailgating and having friends and family over, a second bedroom kind of deal. That's got to be an exciting thing to have that ability. Yeah. And our last, so that's a great question. So our last RV was actually a Class A. It was a Thor Hurricane. So it's a really long 35-foot RV that I drive. I drove it all across the western part of the U.S. But when it was at home, we could have an additional family over that could stay inside and have air conditioning, and it's plugged in right into the house and have those amenities. We've taken it tailgating, which is a blast. It's funny because you mentioned big, large fifth wheels. So I'm more of a purist, but I also happen to be married to my wife. And she is more reality strikes in when she gets involved, right? She's
a glamper, right? Like if it's not 4 o'clock with a glass of red wine and this new buzzword over the last 2 years is a charcuterie board. You have to have the salami and the carrots and all that. But that's what's great about camping is that you actually get to take your home on the road and live and experience the life that you want. Meaning, if you want to be like I get up at 4 a.m. I go fishing up in Mammoth Mountain. I leave the campsite. I go out and I go fishing. I come back with fish. We cook it for dinner. My wife, she sleeps until 8:30. She gets up, she drinks coffee, she reads her book. One of my kids is throwing rocks. The other one is, coloring inside the trailer. It's truly an opportunity to feel freedom. Like you think about motorcycles, freedom. Well, you have that with an RV. You get to experience outdoors without the chaotic weather that comes with it sometimes.
In that regard too, when you're not having to worry as much about the weather and the effects of your camping experience at that point, yeah, you're right. It opens up so much more time for enjoyment and also gives you an opportunity when the weather isn't ideal to still be able to have some fun, right? Inside and protected. And, I think that makes a big difference when you're not having to worry about that on that particular trip all the time.
We experienced, this is probably 3 years ago, we did a Western U.S. trip in our motorhome, and we were up in Yellowstone, and it was 85 degrees, beautiful outside. We woke up the next morning and it was snowing. One day we're out on the river. The next day we're inside watching a movie and playing cards. I mean, you want to talk about making great family experiences. So that's what's kind of unique about the GoRVing.com webpage for information is that it reminds you of some of the things to pack along. Even if you're going to be out for summer, pack hoodies, pack jackets, pack the things that you need for cold weather experience and vice versa. It's really about defining that experience. So the informational stuff that you need is all contained on that website. And again, it's define what it is you want to do. For us, it was we progressed small, larger, large, Class A, drive, talk about an experience. I got to share this. Every time we would move from campground to campground on our we were on the road for 25 days. I like to leave at 4 a.m, 3:30 or 4 a.m. I just am that guy. I function well early. So the best part about the Class A is that I could load up my kid. My kids are in the back asleep. I just take off and I go.
Right.
My son would get up at about 6 and he would sit next to me for 2 or 3 hours and we would just sit and talk.
Probably some of the best times that you had with him, and because it was just you and he and then the open road in front of you, and you could teach him some life lessons. That's got to be pretty cool.
Total life lessons, total great experiences. And the same thing with a travel trailer. You just get up early in the morning and meander outside, and my son and I will sit by, the previous night's campfire, just talking, which is great.
To listen to the full episode, just click the links below. And never miss a podcast by subscribing to Everything Under the Sun on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. New episodes every Friday.